You've got to watch this clip of Reform Rabbi Ammiel Hirsch asking his community, why is it that the Reform Jewish community seems to have produced so many anti-Zionist Jews? He managed to find the bravery to confront this question head on. Have a look at what he says.
We will address the uncomfortable reality that some of those anti-Israel protesters are Jewish. Hundreds of Reform rabbis, cantors, educators, administrators, and lay leaders of our synagogues will begin to grapple with our own inadequacies. Why are so many of those young Jewish protesters graduates and alumni of Reform synagogues, Reform youth groups, Reform summer camps? What did we do wrong? And most importantly, what should we be doing now to instill in our youngsters the core Jewish value, without which nothing Jewish makes sense? Ahavat Yisrael. Love, concern, and responsibility for fellow Jews.
Wow. I'd like to know what you think. What do you think is the reason for this? And is Ahavat Yisrael the solution? I think that's definitely going to be part of it. And by the way, Ahavat Yisrael means love of one's fellow Jew. In other words, moving towards more of the particularism of Judaism, and rather than all the focus being on the universalism. I think that's definitely a part of it. But I think another part, which maybe is an even more uncomfortable issue to face, which they're going to need to if they really want to address this, is that it's actually perfectly articulated in a book by Jonathan Newman, which you can find online, called Tikkun Olam, to heal the world. And it talks about how we see predominantly in Reform Jewish communities an obsession, a focus with social justice, leftism, left-leaning social justice and the causes that they focus on, and basically projecting all of that onto Judaism. The problem is, once you start to try and recreate Judaism in your own image, which is essentially what the Reform project was about, to try and make it reflect more of the modern world, let's say, then you're going to have to follow the diktats of those new values and causes that you're associating with. And if your obsession and focus is turning Judaism into a social justice movement, then you're going to have to follow all the diktats of the people that support that. And what do the social justice movements and warriors say today with regard to Israel? Well, Israel's colonial state, a rogue state, a terrible oppressor of the Palestinians. So, unfortunately, when you do that, when you make it all about social justice, you're making your bed. It shouldn't be surprising to us. So, yes, part of the ideological shift will result back to the core tenets of Judaism is going to mean a bit more particularism, more focus on concern for one's fellow Jew, which is a key tenet of Judaism. But it goes deeper than that. There's actually going to need to be an ideological confrontation that's going to need to take place, an ideological reevaluation. Once you try to recreate Judaism to reflect a modern value system, then you're going to have to follow it to its limits. And what we're seeing is these modern value systems, these false gods. We're seeing the chickens come home to roost. We're seeing that these idols collapsing, and we're realizing that we put our faith in the wrong God. And he's clearly slowly coming to terms with that. And we hope that more people will. In the end, all idols, all false gods, all alternative value systems will prove themselves to be false in the end, will collapse in the end. And it's a great development that people are starting to wake up to that. I'd love to know your thoughts. What do you think is the cause of so many anti-Zionist Jews being produced and coming out of the Reform Jewish community? It's a critical question, and it's good that some people are starting to ask it. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.